For the longest time, I secretly wanted more. I often found myself shrinking to fit in, settling for what was comfortable, and even selling myself short. Once I finally accepted that we deserve success and we are blessed with the power to achieve it, I stopped playing small. I'm serious about building a life I love, and you should be too. I'm Denise Taylor of DeniseTaylor.live, and welcome to Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness. I help women prioritize themselves, their success, and their happiness. Let's meet this week's achiever whose story will inspire you to push past your fears and soar. Well, hello, it's Denise Taylor. Every week, I am excited to welcome you to Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness. Now, whether you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts or listening on Spotify, or if you're watching me on YouTube, I want to say hello to you, and I pray that you are enjoying this holiday season. We are gearing up for our year-end celebration, and this year I am so excited to be sponsoring my signature Denise Taylor.live event. Now, the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about the topics that we are going to be covering as a part of the Unstoppable Conference. This conference is so focused on helping you be new in 2022 that if you stay the same, it is because you are making a choice to do so. This conference is absolutely free. And we've already talked about 3 of the topics that are going to grace the virtual stage starting on Monday, December 27th. I am going to kick it off with They Hurt Me. Now, this is a powerful topic, and we got some things to unpack because many of us have suffered some very unfortunate circumstances at the hands of others. But as I have said, and as I shout from the mountaintops, what happened to you did not ruin you. And you may have held yourself back for many years, just like me. But now it is time to come forward and come forth. And so I am hoping you are making plans to join me on night number 1. Now, night number 2, I'm excited to welcome Bernadette Jackson to the virtual stage. And she is going to help us really unpack our pain around they weren't there for me. Now, this is a critical topic because a lot of people are experienced in abandonment and neglect. In fact, it's the number 1 child abuse, abandonment and neglect. The impact of that on us, though, could make us be long-term people pleasers, could make us thrive in envy and jealousy. It could make us be very volatile and vulnerable when it comes to relationships. And so this is a key topic because we want to understand how the fact that they weren't there for us has impacted us in our current life. And so this topic you don't want to miss. Bernadette is going to come. This is her lane. She does an excellent job of serving women, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. She is going to help unpack that pain, but she's not going to leave you hanging. She is going to give you steps for moving forward as you begin to embrace the new you in 2022. Now, on night number 3, we're going to spend some very good quality time with Sandra, and she is going to help us unpack and discover so much more about when love didn't work out for us. This is an excellent topic because we all have experienced relationship breakup. We have experienced moments where love didn't work out. Some of us have experienced divorce, and all of that is traumatic. It brings on pain in a way like we have never imagined. But what I love about Sandra and how she serves is she's got the specific steps that are going to help you come out of that. Now, I led all up to my guest today, Marsha-Ann Donaldson-Brown. She is what she has coined the Chief Activator of Greatness and Purpose. And I am so excited to have her be the finale of the Unstoppable Conference. Now, she is going to set us up to activate our greatness and activate our purpose. And one of the reasons why this was so key is because once we uproot this pain and we leave it behind, I want to make sure we are fixed and focused on moving forward with power. Now, the beautiful thing is this. She is going to show up. She's going to inspire you. She is going to motivate you and compel you. You are going to get a great sense of what she brings to the table in my conversation with her today. The other thing is the workshop pass. Now, the Unstoppable Conference is helping you to discover your greatness and helping you to leave the past behind. But the workshop series is what's going to propel you to move forward. Now, what I love is that all of us are partnering together, and in a 30-day window during the month of January, you will have hands-on workshops from the four of us who are a part of the Unstoppable team. Now, this is the silver lining. So be sure to check out the workshop pass as you are registering for the conference. What I have discovered with my experiences that I have created through these Denise Taylor.live events is that they are very empowering, but I want to make sure that you embrace that power and go. And we are going to do that because we are committed to coming alongside you and walking you through the process. There's 4 workshops during the course of a 30-day span that is going to help jumpstart your new year. So be sure to check out the workshop pass. Now, without further ado, I want to get into my awesome conversation with Marsha-Ann. She is always on fire, and she's on fire about helping us to activate our purpose, our passion, and our prosperity. All right. It is always my pleasure to partner with Marsha-Ann. We have worked together a few times now. And for me, she is about purpose, passion, and prosperity. She will break those P's down each and every time you talk with her. And so today I am extremely excited to have her join Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness, because we are gearing up for Unstoppable. And this queen right here is going to help us usher in all of the greatness so that we can truly be new in 2022. So Marsha-Ann, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness.
I am so thrilled to be here with you, Denise, and most importantly, thrilled to know everyone who is listening understands the importance of being new in 2022.
Absolutely. So before we dive in and talk about the vision for where we're going to help people go, help us meet you more. Tell us a little bit about the powerhouse woman behind that beautiful smile.
Thank you so much. So I'm Marsha-Ann. By now you would have detected my melodious Caribbean accent. I am Jamaican. I live in Jamaica. And most importantly, I would categorize who I am as one proud, amazing Caribbean woman, a proud mother, a hospitality executive of close to 30 years of working in the hospitality industry, both locally as well as within North America. And I am a woman that is committed now more than ever to be a voice and to be an activator for women, and to ensure I consider myself a chief activator of greatness and purpose. Mm-hmm. And I really want to be that person who is able to help women identify their greatness, step into their greatness, own it, and truly be empowered to live their very best life now, because it's the only one we've got.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. So I have to tell you, when I thought about the Unstoppable Conference and I thought about all the pain that we were going to be unpacking, when we talked about they weren't there for us, and we talked about they hurt us, and we talked about how love didn't work out for us, I knew we could not leave women at a low. I knew that we had to remind them of how great they were, and we had to help them set focus on everything they could become. And you immediately came to mind for what you just said. You are an activator of greatness, and I knew I had to bring you on to Team Unstoppable. And I am so glad that you said yes to that invitation. Now, here's the other thing that I think is pretty sovereign of God. He has assembled a team of people who have gone through their journey to get to the point where they serve. We are not without experience. We have gone through our own experiences that really have prepared us for moments just like this to serve. So you getting to be that chief activator of greatness, that wasn't because you just woke up one day and said, voila, here I am. It's because you took a journey and experienced some things that you overcame and experienced some things that allowed you to truly embrace your power. Tell us a little bit more about your story.
You know, I really have so much passion about this for several reasons, but the main one is so many of us who are on here now would be able to relate that you're a high performing woman, a high achieving woman, the one that truly has the cape on, seemingly having it all together, a corporate executive, a professional climb that is admired by all, a personal life that seems to have it all together. And you get to a point in life where you identify for yourself, am I truly functioning and holding on to these things, or am I really fulfilled? And I had my own personal epiphany. And that personal epiphany was also tied to my health, where truly in the middle of the night, I was laid immobilized in excruciating pain so crippling that I thought my hip would have blown off. And I wanted to get it off. And in the writhing pain, I was able to identify that my life could have been threatened because of health. I knew I had my 2 children fast asleep at that hour. And I knew there and then that there was way more to my life than accolades and what seemingly was public accomplishments. And in that moment, I truly made a commitment to God that, God, there is more in me. Reveal it and I will do it. And he was such a good and a gracious God that my pain lifted and my purpose elevated. And in that moment, I knew that my life was meant for so much more and that there is more in me. And a big part of my advocacy right now is one, empowering young adults, young women especially, and women who have held on to the tradition or to the tenure of being associated with things, but not tapping into their true greatness, not tapping into their purpose because they are tied to what they have already accomplished, but they have not identified that there is more inside waiting to make impact and legacy. So my question always is now, are you truly living a life of purpose, or are you functioning versus flourishing and feeling fulfilled? And until you have that moment where it's just you and God, and where you have identified at 2:00 in the morning, you know there's a stirring for more. My question to your level of being unstoppable is, what is your more that you are not yet tapping into?
And you know, when I think of unstoppable, I always think about what made us stop, right? What made us stop pursuing greater? What made us stop pursuing better? What made us stop pursuing more? And it's always something that we have given more power to than it truly deserves. We have given away our power, but there is something supernatural that happens when we realize that we can reclaim our power, take our power back, that we can become fixed and focused on activating our purpose in a way that we can become unstoppable. Tell me about that. Tell me about becoming unstoppable and activating that greatness.
So I'm going to first address, why did we stop? So in my case, I did not know that I had literally put a lid on myself. And so many of us will be able to relate to this. So the high achiever, the high performer, suffered from imposter phenomenon. I am no longer calling it a syndrome. And I speak of it candidly because you see, when we are perceived to be doing so very well, self-sabotage is something else. So in my case, I had been diagnosed with lupus. And I'd been diagnosed with lupus, and there were so many labels associated with it that I chose to affix to myself. I don't want anybody to know because it's going to question my ability to function. I don't want to seem weak. I don't want a pity party. I don't want it to be that I am passed up professionally. I don't want it to be personally that my children will think something is wrong with me. And I do not, the number of things, the what ifs, the conversations of the what ifs. What if they find out? Will that impact on me? How will this affect me? And that played a war in my head. And I kept that on. Would you believe that I kept that with me for 12 years and never said a thing? Because I wanted to seem like I was functioning. I was living a lie. Just because I chose to put the face on, the mask that we wear today. So many of us wear a mask that put us in stopping mode because we wanted to live up to the perception of the outside while warring on the inside. So that made me stop. And other things too, relationships that really I kept going and keeping because of the perception of the outside. So I lost my voice over time. But the day you choose to become unstoppable, say it with me, I'm unstoppable.
I'm unstoppable.
The day we choose to become unstoppable and reclaim our truth, I chose, and my platform was a little bit more radical than most, but I chose my social media platform to come out and say, for the record, I have been living this life as if it's been ideal, as if all is that and a bag of chips. But in truth and in fact, I've been suffering physically, suffering emotionally, suffering psychologically, because I chose to hide what I thought was a label that would have made me weak. And I want the world to know. Denise, the day I shared it, I am not kidding you. Anything that you have suppressed as your hurt, and hurt for you can come in any form, but hurt is hurt. Anything that you suppress and push away in this deep, dark closet, believe me, you're in bondage and you don't even know. But the day I chose to set myself free, literally, everything changed. I felt the shackles fall. I felt the weight lifted, and I felt God's grace upon me. But most importantly, the moment I shared, was the moment I could help so many others. Because there are people who are waiting on our journey and our story to help them to navigate their life to become truly unstoppable. And so I've helped so many others. And the focus is not this. The focus is not about the pain and the agony and the depth of my secret with lupus. Most importantly, the focus is on releasing yourself from the bondage of being trapped in your own story and carrying it with grave cloths that needs to be unraveled so that you can truly live. Because truth be told, you cannot live. You cannot activate your God-given story, your God-given greatness, your God-given purpose if you have a lid on secrets that need to come out, regardless of what your pain is.
Wow.
Pain is pain.
Wow. 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 All I could do is really shout to what you say, because I have been on that cleansing journey, right? Like you, I held on to my truth and my pain for years. And you're right. It's like a tether within us. It's a burden within us. It weighs us down. It's that little secret that we're told what happens in this house stays in this house. It's that little dirty secret that you feel puts a smudge all over you, but you don't want to tell anybody, because owning up to it is admitting that it occurred, admitting that you've been carrying it. But you're so right. You become so significantly empowered when you have the courage and willingness to let it go. When you have the courage and willingness to let it go, you discover a few things. You discover the only power it had is the power you gave it. And that when you take your power back, you feel rejuvenated. You feel refreshed. You feel unstoppable. You feel as if you can accomplish some amazing things. And so listening to your testimony of how you were able to make that choice and decision, it resonates with me so. And it is that very feeling that I want to encourage others to come and hover around and get. It is that which I think could just revolutionize lives. People's lives literally can be changed, because after you made that choice, what happened for you?
Oh my goodness. Literally, no kidding. Everything changed. What do I mean by that? You said it best, eh? Because I have since been able to coach on the importance of why letting go is critical, and you can only let go when you make a decision. But that's another story. But for me, everything changed. I became so unfiltered about the ability to gain my voice. I did not know how much of my voice I had suppressed. But I also want to tell you something, and you will be able to relate to this as well. Without knowing how much psychological bondage we're in, the sense of release, I believe, is a regeneration of new cells in our body. So you get clarity in your thinking. You get a sense of peace. I am telling you, prosperity becomes your portion. And that's why I stand today believing in the transformation of our lives to one of purpose, passion, and prosperity. Because a lot of times we might drown ourselves in dressing up. We put the makeup on, you have the nice outfit, you're looking good on the outside, but your mindset and your heart set is really not in a healthy place. And true health, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, psychological, none of that will thrive in an environment that is festering, hurt, anger, pain, betrayal, disappointment. Because also I am speaking for myself and others too, that a lot of the physical manifestation of an illness or pain is traced to other roots, emotional, relationship that are toxic or not thriving. And so when you have your moment face to face about what happens next, you become so unstoppable that if you're not careful, you're a freight train and you're ready to go on this track and you're not stopping. And here's the deal. You begin to appreciate how you are going into the next dimension of your life. I didn't say level, not just one rung on a ladder, but the next dimension. So you end up finding out that you begin to thrive in all other areas, not knowing that the suppression and the self-sabotage that you would have employed all this time, everything you gave power to, once you release that and now channel the positive power for your own growth and development and your purpose and your passion and prosperity, listen, prosperity and shalom, that peace, nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing lacking is your portion. And God guides you along. And most importantly, you then become more open and more trusting. Because remember, there's a part of you that didn't trust yourself anyway on your journey.
Yep.
So once you become more open, God will afford you to make connections like the connections you and I have. And that of the other women that you have come alongside with, to say, nobody has a perfect story. Everybody that you meet, for someone who needs to hear this now, everyone that you meet at some point in their lives, they have stopped. Everyone that you meet at some point in their life, they have had deep, dark pain that they are masking and not wanting you to know about. But everyone that has liberated themselves, they're the ones that are here to support you. And I got that kind of support. And us partnering together is to say to everyone, do not enter a new year the same. Consider yourself at the train station where you need to just leave some luggage behind. See the light that's ahead. Go on board this new coach. See yourself as new, renewed with God's grace, and enriched by those of us who are prepared to support you, and understand that your train is unstoppable because you have taken your foot off the brakes of hurt, the brakes of pain, and you are ready to accelerate your life and get to that next level of being unstoppable. The time is now, without delay. It's time to let it go and release yourself to living your life according to God's design and be unstoppable.
I'm just going to put this on repeat and motivate myself, because that crystallizes what being unstoppable is all about. Now, when we come back, Marsha-Ann, I want you to share with us what made you say yes to being a part of Team Unstoppable. We have hid long enough. We have let pain rule long enough. We have settled long enough. We have clung to fear long enough. We have cried long enough, and we have shrunk long enough. I am excited to introduce to some and present to others Marsha-Ann Donaldson-Brown. She encourages and empowers women to live a life of purpose-filled passion. She is going to help us be unstoppable as we become new in 2022. Yes, they hurt us. Yes, they weren't there for us. And yes, love didn't work out for us. But we are leaving the past behind and embracing our power to be unstoppable. Now, change begins when we believe that what happened to us did not ruin us. That is the key message. And I know none of it felt good, but we must refuse to let it define us, to let it stop us, and to let it keep us bound. This is Marsha-Ann's lane, and I am so happy to have her as a part of Team Unstoppable. She will join the Unstoppable Conference, and you can attend live by simply registering. The good thing is, this is a virtual conference, which means that you can register from anywhere in the world and see it live. I want you to certainly embrace your power, and even more, I want to see a new you emerge in 2022. So be sure to register. Visit online at www.denisetaylor.live to see all of the details for the Unstoppable Conference. But this is one thing you need to know. It is completely free. So be sure to join us each night as we help you get ready to embrace your power to be a new you in 2022. All right, so now that we're back, I want you to share what made you say yes to being a part of Team Unstoppable, because I know you have a tremendously busy schedule. You have a lot of opportunities that often presents themselves. And so something about this made you say, I'm going to rearrange some things so that I can be a part of what's happening. What was that tug?
Well, it's two things. One, Denise, I believe in your energy and your synergy, and I believe that you're responding to what God has told you to do. That's a big deal. Mm-hmm. And then I really sought God. I asked you to give me some time, and I sought God. I sought his guidance, and stirred up inside of me is what I asked God to help me to do. Use me to fulfill this purpose where I can help to guide other women to live this empowered life so that they too can have their lives transformed to one of purpose, passion, and prosperity. So if I can have an audience of people who need to be able to get to that next level of becoming unstoppable, and I can aid because I once stopped living that life, mm-hmm. and I am now being fulfilled with the life that I am now living, mm-hmm. I have an obligation to help. Mm-hmm. Even one person is always my audience, even if it's an audience of one. Mm-hmm. And it must be that out of coming together for this, that we are each going to at least have one. Mm-hmm. And when we change one, please understand that we change a trajectory for generations. Mm-hmm. Because the changing of one means changing of that individual, changing of their household, changing of their circle of influence, changing generations to come. Mm. Isn't that what our life is supposed to be? Mm-hmm. If we talk about leaving impact and legacy, that's it. Yeah. So I've surrendered with excitement, with zeal, and with the desire to be alongside you and the other ladies as agents of change as we make 2022 the best ever. Oh my All God. Of us need to be renewed.
Yeah, that is so powerful. And I can't I can't wait for the testimonies that are going to follow, for us really seeking to help that one and helping to impact everything in the life of that one person. It's going to be tremendous. And I thank God that he honored you in your prayer time and really gave you purpose in this, because I do think we're going to make maximum impact in the lives of the women who are going to be joining us for the Unstoppable Conference. Now, I do believe that when we sow seed, which we're going to be sowing seed of ourselves, our investment of our time, our talent, and so many aspects of our experience into the women, that we can have right expectation of goals on their part. So when you think about the goals that you have for the women who are going to come and be helped from this platform, from this opportunity, what would you say your goals for them are?
I want it to be that they see themselves as new. I want them to envision that this which they will experience is going to be a metamorphosis, and that we will incubate them in a space of learning in this brief cocoon. And when they emerge as butterflies, I want them to understand that the wind beneath their wings, that they will be able to fly and be and feel free, because I want them to understand the mission is, one, to not just set them free, but the mission is that they're going to soar to their next level and leave everything that has held them back behind.
That's going to be amazing. Amazing. So here's my question. If someone's pondering, is she talking to me? Who are you showing up for? Describe that person who is waiting to hear from you so that they can know it's me she's after, that I must be there. Who is she?
I believe that I am speaking very firmly and piercingly to that woman who wants the world to think she has everything together. I'm speaking to that woman who is perceived and celebrated by everyone, and in fact admired as having it all together. I'm speaking to that woman who deep down, she knows that there is so much more to her life than what she's truly living. And that perhaps she has resigned to the fact that this is my life and what can I possibly do about it? I'm speaking to that woman who needs to make a brave decision about embracing change and embracing that there is so much more to her life than what she is currently experiencing. And so to that woman who perhaps is a high achiever, to that woman who is a high performer, to that woman who really knows deep down that although I have more degrees than a thermometer, although I may have traveled, although I might have material things, although I might seem relationally satisfied, but deep down, you know you're not fulfilled. And you know there's more to your life. I'm speaking to that woman who understands that she's looking at life and saying, is there more for me? And have I lived, or am I living my purpose? One of the greatest quotes that I will leave, and I'll distill it to say, if at the end of your tenure, and that could be next week or tomorrow, if you know you have unfinished business that needs to be made complete, be obedient to that still voice that God has stirred you already to say there is more inside of you, but you will not be able to achieve it until you let go of the things that are holding you back. That's who I'm speaking to. Wow. And so I want you to release yourself from doubt, from hurt, from pain, and from limitations, from self-sabotage. I want to raise your self-awareness, and I want to raise your self-love, and I want to raise your level of true purpose and understand that there's so much more inside of you. And we're going to help you to become unstoppable. Amazing. You're one decision away. That's it.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, around these parts, Marsha-Ann, I try to encourage people to build a life that they love without apology, that fits right into the whole setup for being unstoppable. And I close out every episode with what I call the LLH questions. They're pretty simple. It's just tapping into your wisdom. So tell me your life wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about life if you could?
I would tell my younger self, believe in yourself unapologetically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is beautiful. Mm-hmm. What about love wisdom? What would you tell your younger self about love if you could?
I would tell my younger self that truly God's love is the very first pillar to identify as love. Mm-hmm. And I would tell my younger self that unconditional love is the one thing that you must experience and never settle for anything less.
I love that. And then finally, your happiness wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about happiness if you could?
I would absolutely tell my younger self that happiness and joy is my birthright. And because it's my birthright, nothing and no one should ever be given the power to take that away. Mm-hmm. And a part of happiness and joy for me is peace. And so I would tell my younger self, protect your peace at all costs. Mm-hmm. Because once you've got peace within, storms can rage around you, but your happiness, joy, and peace will remain the same no matter what.
Beautiful. So Marsha-Ann, I just can't wait to light up the virtual stage with you at the Unstoppable Conference. And I close out every episode by telling my guests that success looks good on them. But today I'm going to say, being unstoppable looks good on you. You know, I love cliches. Little sayings just kind of are quick reminders to me of so many things. And the one that I have clung on to recently is this: you cannot heal what you won't reveal. And as I sit on this side of embracing my power, my biggest regret is how much I allowed my painful experiences to stop me. I gave up my power to shame. I gave up my power to guilt. I even gave up my power to embarrassment. And I lived with this hovering fear of what would people really think about me if they knew my truth. You see, that truth held me captive. The truth of unfortunate circumstances that made me think that I was discounted or ruined in some type of way. But when I began to see myself the way God sees me, I began to understand that what happened to me did not ruin me. And I say the same to you. What happened to you did not ruin you. And as we sit on the heels of a new year, this is the perfect time to embrace your power. You see, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but He gave us power. So I declare a new you in 2022. So much so that I have pulled a team of amazing speakers together so that we could ignite that power within you and encourage you to embrace it. You see, I made an exchange. I made an exchange for all of the ashes that came from my experiences for God's beauty. I made the exchange when I began to see myself the way that God sees me. Then all of those unfortunate circumstances were able to step aside, and I was able to emerge with confidence and strength. I want that for you. You have shrunk long enough. You have discounted yourself long enough, and it is time for you to rise and be unstoppable. The Unstoppable Conference is going to take place the week before we start the new year. It is intentionally timed for that week so that you can set your sights on becoming the new you that you deserve to be. You deserve to experience yourself at your absolute best. So I want to make sure that you are going to be a part of the Unstoppable Conference. I want to make sure that you will indeed seek to heal and seek to reveal your truth. You see, the Unstoppable Conference will feature 4 amazing speakers. 3 will join me. I will kick it off, and we will talk about they hurt me, because the reality is that is real. We have experienced some unfortunate circumstances. And speaking for myself, I had to overcome molestation and sexual assault. So believe me, I know what it's like to be hurt. On night number 2, we'll talk about how they weren't there for us. This whole spectrum of abandonment. People can be present and not. Family members can love you, but have it out of obligation. So what is it to be a present person, but not emotionally available? And what is it to just simply not have access to those who love you at all? You see, it sometimes morphs into mama issues and daddy issues. And those are things that keep us tethered to pain. And on night number 3, we're going to talk about love didn't work out for me. We're going to talk about failed relationships and the pain it takes to really pick up the pieces of your life. When we talk about relationships, love relationships, and tearing those apart to find yourself and figuring out how to pick up the pieces and move forward, we're going to talk about when love didn't work out. And after we unpack all of that pain, we're going to give you specific guiding direction on how to move forward and be unstoppable. And so I hope that you will be a part of the Unstoppable Virtual Conference. And the wonderful thing is that it's virtual, which means you can tune in from anywhere in the world. So take a visit at www.denisetaylor.live and be sure to register to attend live so that you can reap all the benefits of revealing your pain so that it can be healed. Well, that's it, beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Don't ever forget that you truly deserve life, love, and all the happiness your heart can hold. Be relentless in building a life you love without apology. I'm Denise Taylor, and you can always find me in our free Facebook community. Life, love, in the pursuit of happiness, easy to find. Now, if you want more information about my success superpowers, as I'm sure you do, download my free Success Superpowers ebook at denisetaylor.live/podcast. And one last thing, always embrace your power and go.